Howdy. Welcome to my shop. My name's Ron and I'll be your host for the next 10 minutes or so. Being a fourth generation carpenter, wood is that's my language. It's my living, it's my hobby, it's my passion. One of those passions is making stocks. I've never had any formal training in this. I just wanted to put a piece of wood on a gun one day, and I seemed like that'd be a pretty unique challenge, so I tried it. And been going at it ever since, but honestly, I owe a lot of my success to my customers, my friends that have suggested this or that, different ways of doing it to produce a better outcome. And so I appreciate them. I owe them a great deal. The finish that I use was suggested by a friend of mine that owns a gun shop in Georgia, a guy named Dan. Been friends with him for many years, and I owe him for that knowledge. So I don't suggest that my way is the only way. That's just not the case. I picked up my abilities to do this from watching other people and seeing other things and then figuring out how to do that. So it's a process. Some ways are better, cleaner, faster. They require less effort. On and on it goes. And I'm open to learning new and better ways. I'm always looking for that. My grandfather used to say, never let a day go by that you don't learn something. So when I do, I'll often look up, thanks, Pop, because no matter how old you get, you still need to be learning new things. So come on in, see what's going on today. Howdy. Today I'm going to start a little 410 that it's called a Sterling. I'm not familiar with this. It's a little hammer gun. Cute as a bug. The action locks tightly. It's pretty snug on the lock up. The forearm's okay, except it's got a bunch of high gloss varnish on it. It snaps in well. It seems to be original. The buttstock has taken some hard licks, and the trigger guard has been welded back right there. Maybe dress that up a little bit. The screws are they've been kind of chewed out. It's old. It's had kind of a tough life, but we're going to see if we can redo it. This came from a friend of mine in Pennsylvania named Michael Grasso. He's a dealer, and it's got a really pretty piece of tiger stripe on it. But he actually wanted me to fix it because I told him there was no way this was going to get fixed. So I picked out a really pretty piece of crotch pearl, and it's got some stress cracks in it here. It's way too thick. It's about double the thickness it needs to be. So I'm going to plane a bunch of this off. This thing, I've had it for about 20 years, and I'm going to plane a bunch of it off to see if I can get rid of those little cracks. And the other side is not quite as pretty, so I'm going to plane some off of this side to get rid of cracks, and some off of this side to start exposing the crotch in there, the figure. So that's the plan. Let's get going. Well, I took about a 1/4 inch off of this board each side. It's still too thick, but I got rid of those little cracks in here. The problem with grain like this is it dries out in between all that pretty grain. You'll get little kind of half moon, little fissures, little cracks where it separates. There's one left. You can't see it, but I can feel it. It's right there. And so I'll get rid of that. I'll keep planing it down. As this stuff takes longer to dry because it's so dense. The heavier the burl, the more dense it is, the longer it takes to dry. So you have to give it that extra time. This thing, I've had it here in the shop for 20 years, and but it's a pretty piece. It's just too small. It fits perfectly on this little bitty garden gun, but for a full-size stock, it's just too small, too short, and well, mainly just too short. But the thing with this burl is you got to give it extra time to dry, and then you've got to let it crack and gap open. And when it finally stops doing all that and stops moving, then it's ready to use. That's just the price you pay for using burl. And then sometimes if it's still not completely dry, or if it gets subjected to whatever conditions, heavy burl like this will, after it's made and years later, the surface of it will get little dips and stuff in it, and you'll see it's not quite flat and smooth like it used to be. It'll get little gaps, may come open in it or whatever. And the worst case, if you put this kind of stuff in a real thin area like a wrist, see, that's where this wrist gets real small. If you put that tiny wrist and put heavy burl in that, it'll crack because it's not strong. It's just not strong as straight grain. What I'm going to end up doing is putting the butt portion of this that's big down here in all this heavy burl, and then up here where I need it, I've got straight grain. See, this will be the wrist of it will be up in here. So that's the plan, is to use this straight part for the wrist, and then use this pretty part for the butt stock, for the butt end of it. I got to finish planing this down to approximate thickness. It's still about 1 3/4 inches, and it only needs to be about 1 1/4 inches. So I'm mainly going to start taking it off of this straight grain side to expose some of this burl. That stuff goes in there to some degree, and I'm going to try to expose it by taking this off. A lot of stock making is choosing, deciding how to do this, how to do that, when to do this, when to do that. But the first thing you got to do is choose a piece of wood. And I thought I had one picked out, and this was it. I showed you the ins and outs of this one the other day. It's in the last few minutes on this video, but I've waited about a week to carry on with this project. So I just wasn't satisfied that I could make that fit into the amount of really pretty wood I had there without getting over into this sapwood, and I didn't want to do that. So I found another piece, but it's got some marks, some little cracks, just a series of little bitty cracks. I planed about almost 1 inch off of it. It was real thick when I started. But it's got this series of little cracks down through here that kind of, I cannot get over into that. They fade out about right there. But I'm going to trace where this is to the other side, so I can tell what I'm looking at on this side. So I can stay away from that. And then what I have on this side is some sapwood to deal with. So I've got to be able to fit that stock into what I have left here, and I think I can do that. Put the butt down here and the front up here, where this has got some of the prettiest grain, and then up here is straighter, a little bit straighter. So that's my plan, to lay this thing out in what I have available in this piece. I'm starting out a little too close to the edge of those cracks, but I'm going to get rid of this part of it first and leave the top full, and just take this bottom off and see how deep those cracks go, because this is still a lot fatter than this is going to be. See, I've got a bunch of cracks right in here, but if they don't go but just skin deep, I can get rid of them. If not, I can just scoot this whole series of lines up and just keep going. But the prettiest grain is in the middle, and it's not so pretty out here on the edges. I got that shape, initial shape cut out. I've got those little cracks right in here, and they are deeper than what I wish. See, they go down into here, both sides of this grip cap, and I don't want that. So I've got to go further that way with this line. Now on the other side, see, I've got sapwood, and I don't need that sapwood, so I need to stay away from that. So if I put my stalk up here, I can see that I don't have enough sapwood to mount to anything over here on this top, because that's going to roll over and that's going to get rid of that sapwood. It's just very shallow. And up here I still got plenty of heartwood left. So what I'm going to do is shift this whole thing like that and get rid of these cracks down here in this grip cap in the lower part of the grip. And I'll still have enough heartwood up here to do that. So I'm going to just tilt the whole thing that way and recut that. I'm going to take it about probably a good 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8, and just shift the whole thing that way, and then redraw that line.